On today's show, a local train depot from 1886 gets a preservation grant. 2 Metro Detroit communities get top billing as places to retire. An annual festival in Oakland County will be back at least through 2024. H&amp in downtown Detroit finally has an opening date. Dr. Paul Thomas from Plum Health comes on to talk about their new office in Detroit's Corktown, and a Detroit teacher that's driving Uber to pay for sweaters for her students. It's Tuesday, November 5th, 2019, and this is your Daily Detroit. I'm Jer Stays. Let's do all of this after a very quick thank you to our members that are an important part of powering your Daily Detroit podcast. Independent funding means truly independent media. Support our work at patreon.com/dailydetroit, and thank you. This first story is about saving a bit of history in northern Oakland County. The historic Holly Union Depot has won a $150,000 grant that will give it new life. The money covers half of the $300,000 needed to move and renovate the depot, built in 1886. The funding is from the Partners in Preservation Main Streets program, and it's sponsored by American Express and the National Trust for Historic Preservation. They're working along with the Main Street America and National Geographic. The plan is to move the building 1,000 feet as it's sandwiched between 2 active rail lines. It's going to become a community space and welcome center for the town of just over 6,100 people. Another claim to fame for Holly Union is that in 1908, famous prohibitionist Carrie Nation arrived at the depot, and she became known for hatchet-wielding crusades against, quote, demon rum. To be clear, we here at Daily Detroit like rum very much, and a big shout out to Lost River last weekend. That was a fun time. But I digress. I've seen this building before, and it's pretty awesome if you're into trains. It's got that cool old style. It's all brick. It's got the neat lines, the neat, sharp, pointy roof, and it would be totally at home in Greenfield Village. It's going to be neat to see this thing happen. There is still a bit more money to raise, and it's being handled by the nonprofit Main Street Holly. In a nod to the last century, they don't have a website apparently to take donations, but checks can be sent to the Village of Holly, attention of the Holly Union Depot. That's at 300 East Street, Holly, Michigan, 48442. 2 Metro Detroit communities have been listed in the top 10 of a recent list. Not for best restaurants or best drinks, but for the best cities to retire in. This makes sense as Michigan's on track to have a population that's one of the oldest in the nation. That's all according to chamberofcommerce.org. Troy ranks 6th, getting praise for low crime, neighborhoods, and, quote, quirky local character. There are good things to say about Troy, but quirky wasn't the first word that came to mind when I think of the suburb. I'm not sure what's quirky about Somerset Mall, or is the city manager that was recently sent to prison for embezzlement quirky? I'm not sure. Then, coming in 8th was Livonia. A quarter of the population there is 65 or older. They said that Livonia is, quote, the quintessential Michigan suburb, unquote. I would add that considering its wide roads and lack of mass transit, they're one of the communities, after all, that has chosen to have no regional bus service. Well, I'd have to agree with that one. An annual festival that draws as many as 400,000 people to downtown Royal Oak on Labor Day weekend has had its contract extended. Arts, Beats, and Eats will return through 2024. It started in Pontiac in 1998 and moved to Royal Oak a decade ago. Another event by the same promoter, Jonathan Witz, was approved through 2021. That's called Rockin' Rides, and it happens the 3rd weekend in June. H&amp finally has an opening date in downtown Detroit. The 25,000 square foot store at 1505 Woodward will swing open the doors at noon on November 21st. It's located in a historic Albert Kahn building owned by Dan Gilbert's Bedrock. And H&amp is doing a promotion to kick off the retailer's arrival. The first 500 customers on opening day will get a $10 gift card. And if you bring in a bag of unwanted clothing, you'll be entered in a raffle for a chance to win a gift card worth up to $500. Joining me on the line, an old friend of Daily Detroit, Dr. Paul Thomas. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome, Jer. Thanks for the call, man.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you because you've got a new spot for your business. It's 1,700 square feet.
Yeah, we moved into a larger space, 1,700 square feet at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. 1620 Michigan Avenue.
So people, if they don't know, you are a direct primary care provider. So you're somebody who does a membership model for healthcare in the city of Detroit.
Exactly. Our members pay $10 a month for kids, and it starts at $49 a month for adults. And with that membership, our patients can come see us anytime they need to without a copay.
Things are getting bigger. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing with this? Are you adding doctors?
Yep. So in July, we hired our first, doctor outside of myself. That was Dr. Raquel Orlick. She went to Michigan State. She's an osteopathic medicine doctor, also known as a DO. And she has 100 patients right now. I have 450 patients right now. In total, we have 550 patients together. And I would typically cap at about 500 patients per doctor, just so we have enough time to give our full attention to our patients that we have in our practice.
Obviously things are doing well. Then why the corner? Because for a while you were actually in an old police station, actually down on Verner.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? We started out in the old 3rd Precinct Police Station at 21st and Verner, and we just outgrew the space. And we also had won some money through Detroit Demo Day and the Motor City Match program, and we had to use that money. So we put it towards investing into a space that would become a long-term home for ourselves. We had a month-to-month lease at the police station, so it was time for us to kind of like grow up and move out into a nicer, larger office.
So why the corner? Because that's a development that's really come to fruition quickly after, it was a long time with Tiger Stadium and what was going to happen with that. But now, you've got lofts upstairs, you've got the PAL field behind you. Why the corner?
Well, it was kind of like a perfect storm of good things. A lot of good things came together at once. One, we needed to grow into a larger space. Two, it was a new build, which was important for us because there aren't any Class A medical offices or doctor's offices in the city of Detroit. And when you build a doctor's office, you need plumbing. And to retrofit just any old building or any old storefront into a doctor's office, you have to drill through concrete, which is quite a bit of money. It really increases the cost. So by going into a new space before they poured the concrete, we were able to give them our architectural plans beforehand and have a build that made sense where we save money on the construction costs. And then the third thing is it was really close to our old location. We're only 1.1 miles away from the old 3rd Precinct Police Station. And so now being in this space, we can retain all of our current patients because we haven't gone too far.
Well, seeing that you're having this track record of success, what are some of the things that you've learned in the last, few years of doing this? Because, I remember talking to you back in the day when it was kind of like just you and that little office there, and now it's really become a thing. What are some of the things you've learned?
And I've learned so much starting this business. It's really hard to sum it up in a few phrases, but if you're ever starting a business, it's not really the decisions, it's the decisiveness. And that's something I really had to learn because as a doctor, there's another part of my brain that likes to overanalyze things and think through all the options and take my time with making an accurate diagnosis. So I kind of have to turn that side of my brain off when I think about my business and really make really fast decisions so that we can grow and serve people and reach out to the community through like advertising and marketing and all the things that we do. So that was probably my biggest takeaway from starting this business.
How can people get involved?
Yeah, so you can check out our website, plumhealthdpc.com, and that DPC is for direct primary care. Or you can give me a call on my phone, 313-444-5630, and we can help you make an appointment. It's just that easy.
In my opinion, a city hasn't come back unless its children have hope. So although I'm excited about new development and neat restaurants, in my everyday life as a city resident, I run into so many stories of our children not having the basics. I don't go home to Clinton Township or Ferndale or Canton. I just walk down my street. I was running behind to an appointment downtown, so I grabbed an Uber from my place near Highland Park, and along the way met Tonique. She has a full-time job as a teacher in a Detroit charter school, but she's working a second shift as an Uber driver for her students. Why don't you hop in the car with me really quick to find out more? So I am in an Uber on the way to a studio, and I found out a really interesting story. What's your name?
Tanique.
So Tanique, you were telling me that you're a teacher.
Yes.
And why are you Ubering? It's Friday. It's like a little bit before 5 o'clock. About to head here. I'm outside the Foundation Hotel. Why are you Ubering?
Well, I decided this week that about 10 of my students need sweaters. So this would be the most convenient way for me to get those by earning a few extra dollars.
When you talk about these kids, where are you teaching at?
I teach at Flagship Charter. It's on the northwest side of Detroit.
These kids, they need sweaters?
Yes, they need sweaters. They go out for recess, and sometimes, they don't have the sweaters. And I understand how the need is there. And so I just felt like, wouldn't it be nice for everyone to be comfortable in class with a nice sweater?
Well, so here's the thing. I'm going to say to my Daily Detroit listeners that I think Tanique needs some help. Hopefully somebody listening out there can throw a few bucks. How much about are these sweaters each?
They run anywhere between $8 and $16, given the size of the child.
So even $10 can make a really big difference. So Tanique, if people want to get in touch with you, they can email you, right?
Yes, I would gladly accept all emails. You can reach me at TaniqueDJ@gmail, and that is TONIQUE, D like in Donald, J like in John, @gmail.com.
All right, thank you. And hopefully we can get some sweaters.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And that's all for today. Thank you for listening to Your Daily Detroit. Thanks for all the feedback on the recent narrative episode about the failed jail. Not only was it well downloaded, but I'm glad some folks got some perspective that they really might not have had. Many of our listeners are 30 years old and under, so the 8 years covered in that project, well, I got feedback that some were still in high school. Tomorrow, we're at TEDx Detroit. We're also working on stories on Detroit Future City, on what's going on in Hamtramck, and of course, the suburbs too. I'm Jer Stays. Take care of each other, and I'll see you around Detroit.